Hello, and welcome to Rational Insight. My name is Alec. So the other day, I decided I wanted to torture myself by checking Twitter for the first time in some years now, which I guess is now X. And I stumbled upon a post, actually a survey, about people my age and their lack of belief in the Holocaust. It was something around 20% of people my age don't believe it happened. And of course, first I thought this must be clickbaity in some type of way. There's no way this is possibly true. But upon further research, it seems to be the case that this is actually a relatively reputable source that came up with this number. And I thought to myself, well, there has to be some type of major pushback going on here, right? That this can't be just going unnoticed. And the further I looked, the more disappointed I became when I realized that there is practically no pushback on something like this. Now, normally I don't engage with conspiracy theories as I see them as a waste of time. As Christopher Hitchens once said, what could be brought upon without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. And I think that's a really true notion that we should spend our lives trying to emulate. But this specific conspiracy is so grandiose and so detrimental to so many people that I don't think it's something that we can just simply ignore, especially if the numbers are as high as they seem to be. And I thought, well, maybe I'll make a blog post or something along those lines to try to get this out there. But instead, I think it's more important to have these conversations in just that, a conversation. To get across your thoughts while sitting in front of a microphone and allowing people to really hear what you have to say, instead of reading what's a comprehensive and edited blog post that would honestly turn away most people as it is. I don't expect most conspiracy theorists to hear this, but for the mere chance for any of them to do so, I hope this can be somewhat stimulating to do some more research. And that's how I got to the point of this podcast. And I started to think, well, maybe I don't want this to be a one-off thing. Maybe I could use this for a more granular task. So I decided to make something where I could occasionally research and speak upon what might otherwise go unspoken. So things like Holocaust denial for one, but even things of metaphysical questions such as, well, we'll get to that of course, but for an example, people today seem to be pretty polarized in almost everything, including, there's a question I saw that's gained traction in recent years, which is the idea that obesity must either be completely due to someone being lazy or by choice, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, that there's absolutely nothing that can be done about such a condition, And I think that's an important conversation to have as well. So a little bit about myself. I'm an undergrad student studying both psychology and philosophy. Now I plan on going to graduate school for clinical psychology, but I study philosophy mainly because it's a personal interest of mine, and I think it only bolsters my ability to think critically and engage with a vast array of topics and engage in the most adequate way I can. So I wanted to create this episode as a introduction to the podcast and myself and kind of where I see this going. Some other things I plan on doing in the future are maybe some conversations with other people or book reviews of various things I'm reading over the winter break right now. I have more books than I could possibly handle, but I'm trying to get through as many of them as I possibly can. And I plan on doing some reviews on them, as well as any other things that might come up. You know, it's a scary time right now. As of when I'm recording this, Trump just got barred from re-election in Colorado because of the inciting of insurrection. So I have no idea where that's going to go or what the next election might bring. But as for I can speak for most Americans. It's a pretty crazy time, and I'm sure I'll be doing some level of coverage on that as well. I made a small website for this podcast in case anyone wants to look at that or engage in some type of way of reaching out to me, provide some feedback or pushback or even some ideas. So in the next episode, I plan on covering the Holocaust denial, so be sure to look out for that. So thank you for checking out this episode of the podcast, and be sure to reach out to me via that website. It should be in the podcast description. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.